What can you tell us about this programme?
Okay, so 90 minutes, which is longer than there's ever been for Gavin
but
and
it'll
Stacey.
go by in a heartbeat, because all your favourite things on telly always do. So how far into it does Uncle Bryn die?
Well, there's the
Because we know Tom Jones is in it.
I want to tell you, Chris. You know how I feel about you, Chris. I adore you. I want to tell you, Chris. The ending is special.
All right, okay.
It is special.
Okay. The ending is after the most of the rest of it. Is this the most secret thing you've ever worked on?
Yes.
What would come close?
With the last Gavin and Stacey. I'm trying to think now. If you love the characters of Gavin and Stacey and all the characters within the show, you are in for a treat. Ruth Jones is more so than James, is one of the most secretive people. It would not surprise me if we one day discover she's been working for the Russians.
Virgin Radio.
Oh, he's already bringing in the joy. They're not my bells, they're just bells. They just happen when he comes in. Right, Vassos, over to you.
Nothing says Christmas like our next guest. He stars on BBC One on Christmas Day in Tiddler. And then he stars on BBC One on Christmas Day in Gavin and Stacey, the finale. And he's back in the West End next Monday for a festive night of songs and laughter. So we're all dreaming of a bride Christmas with Rob Brydon.
Yeah, let's hear from Rob with bells on.
Hello.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Chris.
How are you, mate?
I'm good.
So 3 Christmas helpings, 3 big heaped tablespoonfuls of Brydon.
That's right.
So much to talk about. There's so much going on. Is it true that Tom Jones appears in Gavin and Stacey, in the final episode of Gavin and Stacey? Is it true? Because that's the big rumour.
I can neither confirm nor... I don't know. Well, obviously I would know, wouldn't I? No, you're not gonna get me to fall into a trap. Whether I'm in it or not.
Isn't there a big song and dance number at the end that he is the head?
Where have you heard that from?
That voice.
Oh, you just made that up in your head, did you? Yeah.
No,
I don't know. I am not going to be the Gavin and Stacey cast member who lets something tumble out in an interview.
Right, now here's the thing about Gavin and Stacey. Gavin and Stacey's on Christmas Day. They're actually showing the other Christmas specials on the BBC a couple of days before.
Yes.
One's on at 10:30, 2019.
Yeah.
When was the first Christmas special?
Oh, I don't know.
2008, 2009, something like that. All great. There's nothing not to look forward to with this Gavin and Stacey finale. How soon into it? It's 90 minutes, isn't it?
Indeed.
So how far into it does Uncle Bryn die?
Well, there's the
because we know Tom Jones is in it.
There's the explosion first of all, obviously, and then that's why. And for a while, it's touch and go. Well, has Bryn survived?
Yes.
And then
so you're at Smithy's wedding.
There was a rumour about Bryn. Didn't James say something like that in an interview about Bryn dying?
Yeah, here.
He was here.
Yeah.
It was on this, was it?
Yeah.
Well, I can neither confirm nor deny it.
It was 10 years between the end of the series and that special, and then this will be 5 years from the last special to this, and that felt like probably the right time to wrap it up. One last ride into the sunset.
So you got into the room the first time where you do the pacing and Ruth does the typing, and the first thing you had to decide was what Smithy says.
Well, no, it was Bryn's funeral was the first thing we needed to write, that was the thing. See, Chris doesn't know who Bryn is, but
I know who Bryn is because...
I'm joking. There isn't... Well, there might be. I don't know.
All right.
I do now have all of Bryn's costumes in my house, though.
If it would have happened during the filming of Gavin and Stacey's Christmas special, would you have known about it, or may James and Ruth have made it happen in the edit and you don't know about it?
That would be a heck of an edit.
So he doesn't die. He doesn't die. He doesn't.
I can't tell you how concerned I am that I might let something slip here.
It's so funny. My friend's wife used to be the conductor for the orchestra at Pinewood who played the score to the Star Wars films. Wow. And you have no idea what their lives were like.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had to be able to see the film. Yeah. Because they had to sort of, no matter how good she was, and she's like still one of the greatest conductors in the world. And in the end, Star Wars said after about 3 or 4 films, they go, we can't show it to you anymore because it's leaking and it might be, we're not saying it's one of you. Yeah. And so what they had to do was they had to go to this sort of day of description of the film to help them play the music right. And that was the day before. Then they were given a night to think about it, and then they could play the music. Are we at that level of secrecy with Gavin and Stacey?
Yeah, I know. I always find this whole thing of secrecy. I get it with this special because
is this the most secret thing you've ever worked on?
Yes.
What would come close?
Oh, with the last Gavin and Stacey. I'm trying to think now. I'm trying to think of the other. I'm trying to think of the other things I've done. Oh, sometimes if you do American things, they're pretty secretive. But you know that. See, that's interesting because I don't. Here's the thing that I was thinking, I thought of you because I saw, thinking about my social media, actors, and it was Denzel Washington, and he was saying, I prefer the theatre, he said, because movies are a filmmaker's medium. He said, all you can do is you do your thing, and sometimes, he said, you'll be doing the most brilliant acting, and then you realise the director is closing in a close-up on your feet, and there was an actress, forgive me, I don't know who she was, and she said, oh my God, she went, heartbreak. And my reaction to that was, I would not be heartbroken. I would just go, oh, well, there you go. They weren't on me.
Yeah, but you're not Denzel Washington, with respect.
To me. No, I know, but it doesn't matter who you are. I don't know who she was. But it's about your approach to the work. I would never think, oh, heartbreak.
The process is the win.
I would just go, oh,
you're
well,
in it.
What the heck, yeah.
You're in it even if you're edited out of it.
And it's the doing it.
Right.
It's the doing it is the thing, surely.
Okay. What can you tell us about this programme that's going to be on BBC One?
Okay, so 90 minutes, which is longer than there's ever been for Gavin
But
and
it'll
Stacey.
go by in a heartbeat, because all your favourite things on telly always do. How quickly was Happy Days over? 23 minutes. It was.
Oh, yeah. Well, that seems crazy now, yeah.
Okay.
But this has got, to be serious, their writing, Ruth and James's writing, is absolutely glorious. There's economy to it. It flows, it moves, bing, 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 the story, and then the characters. And if you love the characters of Gavin and Stacey and all the characters within the show, you are in for a treat.
Do you know what he just said then? Absolutely nothing.
No, really nothing.
That was like a masterclass in how not to say anything about the
Ruth Jones is more so than James, is one of the most secretive people. It would not surprise me if we one day discover she's been working for the Russians. She honestly, she doesn't. She likes everything to be under wraps, and I understand they want it to be a lovely surprise.
Right. Okay. Where does it go geographically?
We go. Bryn gets the family into the Picasso and drives them to Billericay.
There you go. Okay, so we know that. So the Picasso's made it.
The Picasso's in.
Okay,
yes.
Billericay's back in.
Billericay's back, and Barry.
Barry's in as well. Okay.
We see Gwen.
Yeah.
We see Gavin, Stacey, Smithy.
When it ends.
Yeah.
The final 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Will it be like a Mamma Mia moment? Will we be like jumping on our sofas? Will we be hugging our family? Will we be crying all the tears, but we're just not quite sure at any given moment which tears they are? That kind of thing.
Chris Evans. Oh.
I'm just asking you for a mood. Give us mood. What do I need?
Like I'm being interrogated.
No, sorry, I never want you to feel like that.
I know. I want to tell you, Chris. You know how I feel about you, Chris. I adore you. I want to tell you, Chris. The ending is special.
All right, okay.
It is special.
Okay. The ending is after the most of the rest of it.
Yeah, well, it starts off with the beginning, right? And at about halfway through...
This is all we're going to get. I love this.
Halfway through, you think, well, we're in the middle now, aren't we? And then as it progresses, certainly when it closes, you think, that was the end. Is
it like, do you surf?
Oh, take a wild guess.
Have you never surfed?
I've tried, yeah.
Exactly.
I was taught by Big Wave Dave in Bondi.
Big Wave Dave, come on! The great if you want to surf and you can't surf and you had to go surfing, the great things anybody can paddle out. So you want
Yes.
to paddle out,
Yes.
and then what you want to do is you want to try and sit on your surfboard, which will take you like 100 attempts because you'll keep falling off it. Just to
Yes.
sit on it is difficult. You're exhausted for the
It's
first
the
week
exhaustion,
trying to sit on your surfboard, let alone doing anything else. But if you can then master the sit, you're sitting on the surfboard, and for that moment in time, if the LAPD fly over in their helicopter, you look like you might be able to surf.
Right.
And it's the same with the golf club, isn't it? All you do with the golf club is you just
Yes.
lean on it. Lean on it, because no matter where you are, unless you're swinging and missing a ball, nobody knows.
You
Nobody
just
knows.
stand with it. You could be the best in the world.
But back to the surfing and sitting on the surfboard,
Yeah.
waiting for the seventh wave. You know, waves come in sets of
Yes,
7. You know
yes,
this, don't
yes,
you?
yes.
So you get a great wave, you wait 5 or 6. The next wave's going to be 6, 7, or 8. Usually,
Yeah.
that's the thing. So if we are sitting on the surfboard of watching Gavin and Stacey, right?
Yes. Yes.
And we're waiting for the waves to come in.
Yes.
Are we the 7th wave,
Yeah.
the last 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to sense, having watched Gavin and Stacey before and others telly before, sitting on our telly-watching surfboard, that we are in for a cracker of a wave? Do you get that feeling of what is it called? Crescendo. Is there a crescendo? Are we surfing the crescendo of a TV show that we all know and love, and we know has to end? We just wish it wasn't going to.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you had to
I did so much heavy lifting. I've never done that much
I'm
heavy
looking
lifting.
through there at the BBC.
check
Yeah.
whether you
and
could say
I'm,
yes.
Hey, you know what I would say, Chris?
Yes.
There are lots of 7th waves.
Nice. So there are a few sets of 7. Good. And they
Was
all
that
lead...
Sting? Love is the
No,
7th wave?
I
was him,
love
wasn't it?
that. I'll take that. Tell us about the one-man show for the Christmas special.
Okay, the one-man show is, I've been touring, I went to Australia, New Zealand, Britain with a band doing a show, and then we thought, hey, and I've loved it, and then we thought, well, let's do a Christmas one. So we're at the Lyceum Theatre where the Lion King is, Hakuna Matata, and we're going to be there on Monday night, the 16th, with some surprise guests.
Come on.
And I can't say who they are because they're a surprise, but they're quite exciting.
I know one of them, and I'm not going to say either because I don't really. I would actually, with anybody else, I would just say it. I'd just say it and see how they go
Yeah,
with
you
it. But
would, you
Rob,
would.
because I love you,
Thank
it's not
you.
going to happen.
Thank you.
What a night that's going to be.
We had a band rehearsal yesterday, and it was like putting on a pair of comfy slippers.
And it's funny because I went to see Led Zeppelin when they played the O2, and it was this one. Everybody said it was a one-off, and Paul McGuinness, U2's manager, was sitting next. Well, we were all standing next to me, and he just whispered in my ear about halfway through. He said, "There's no way this is a one-off," because it was too good. There was too much work they got into it, but it was a one-off. For Led Zepp, see Rob Brydon at the Lyceum. I can't believe this is going to be a one-off.
Well, maybe not, because if it works and if I love it, then I would think about maybe doing it every Christmas. But because there's a lot of surprise guests, there's a lot of sort of well-known folk just
you
popping
want
in,
that.
and to organise that on more than one night becomes a whole other thing.
Unless you become a happily travelling band of players.
Yeah, but the sort of people that are dropping in, you can't get them to just
No, but you
drop
could
in.
get other people to.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to Dick and Dom yesterday because they were in for Ryan Tuberty yesterday, and who doesn't love a bit of Dick and Dom? They're on weekends here, and they are absolutely smashing it. They love radio, and radio loves them, and that relationship is only going to blossom ever further. And I was talking to them about pantomime, and because one of them, Dick, lives 2 hours from London, and Dom, so now it's like, well, we can do it, but it's about you. Time is currency. The currency you're not going to get back with the family and the kids at a certain age. But you could fashion it in a way, couldn't you? That you had a merry band of brothers and sisters touring from like end of November to third week in December.
Yeah. Oh, listen, this has crossed my mind, and it is very appealing. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes on Monday night.
But it's going to be great.
Well, yeah, it's got the potential. There's some lovely ingredients. You never know, though, do you?
So without giving too much away, what is the flow of it like? What are we
The
talking
flow
about?
of the show, basically, I've taken bits. There's more or less the structure of my normal show.
Which would be what, for example?
Okay, well, that's me sort of telling my life story of going to school in Porthcawl, meeting Ruth Jones, you know, then going to drama school, then starting to get, then all the people I worked with, like Tom Jones and different people. So I tell the stories. This is like that. I've taken loads of it out and stuck loads of Christmas stuff in.
Right. Okay. So it's like for like, but it just works, man.
Yeah,
because Rick Astley loves a Christmas show as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And you know Rick really well.
Yeah, I do.
And you know he can't get enough of it. Paul McCartney loves a Christmas show.
It's just such a good feeling. I never thought I did, and then a few years ago, there's a guy called Guy Barker, who's this wonderful musician. He put on a great show at the Albert Hall with a massive orchestra, and I went along and sang "I'll Be Home for Christmas" with a huge orchestra, and I shocked myself at how much I just loved the vibe.
Wow. I love that.
The atmosphere, and it felt like a good fit.
Is he a musicologist?
He's an absolute genius of music.
I think he might be actually nailed on qualified. I mean, he's qualified. It doesn't need to be qualified.
He's incredible. Yeah.
Hannah Waddingham loves a Christmas show.
Oh, I saw Hannah. Well, Hannah is the narrator of Tiddler.
I know.
That's why you mentioned her. And we were at the screening.
Like
I know. We were at the screening. We always have a little screening in a cinema of the Julia Donaldson, and so I saw Hannah there. She's fantastic.
Yeah, and she had a big Christmas show last year.
Yes.
Sabrina Carpenter's got the big one this year. Sabrina's Nonsense Christmas, which apparently is amazing, and that's a Netflix show. Hannah's is forever, because if you nail one of these, it's there forever, isn't it? It's a forever thing. I mean, I just love it. Well done to you for being able to do that, for having those arrows in your quiver, the song and dance, the sing, the Brucey-ness of your life.
Yeah.
We'll get on to Gavin Stacey in a bit, but I did want, because we've never really had this chat. You know, which did you do first, or which did you know you had half a chance at making a living at first?
Voices. So when I was a kid, I could always do voices.
First ever impression?
Probably Kermit the Frog or Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street.
Well, hang on a minute. We were watching Bert and Ernie at the weekend.
Yeah?
Because we bought a Bert and Ernie puppet for the kids. And we were watching old Bert and Ernie. So they didn't know what the puppet... They loved the puppets, but they didn't know what to do with them. So we watched some classic... so funny and so clever, and they have an educational rhythm to the comedy sketches. Right. Usually the rule of three, where something happens 3 times, the kids can't believe that Bert's going to fall for it again, and Ernie pulls it off, and then it's so wonderful. And I'm like, hang on a minute. Jim Henson, he didn't change his voice at all for Ernie. At all.
Yeah.
You know, it's Kermit, isn't it?
Frank Oz was the voice of Bert.
And Miss Piggy.
And Fozzie Bear.
Yeah.
And Yoda.
Yeah.
And then Jim Henson, I think. So I would go, of course, I'm a lot older now. But, buddy Bert, Ernie, I'm trying to sleep. Oh, gee, Bert, rubber ducky. And I would do that, and I would do Kermit. And there was a Welsh comedian called Ryan Davis who had lots of characters. So those are the ones. So I knew I could do that. And you know, I mean, I always say this, but I just like things being nice. And I like people smiling and laughing. And so it's just all part of that.
It's true. It's absolutely true. I've known Rob for ages now. I know him really well, and everything he's saying is true. That is what you're like. We camp together 4 days a year.
Yes,
and we're 24/7, aren't we? We are warts and all. Families are warts and all. Things go well. Things don't go so well. Yeah. It rains. It's sunny. Yeah. All this. We've seen each other at our lowest ebbs and our highest
First thing in the morning, waking up, coming out.
Towels only.
Yes.
On the way to the showers.
Yes.
Proper, like we have more knowledge than we'd like of each other, to be honest. And you're always like that. We were talking about Kobe Bryant before. You know, if you go up against somebody who is doing what they like, that means they will do it more. And the more they do what they like, the better they'll get at it, and the more they'll like it, and the more they'll do it. And if you come across somebody like that, then you better be on your game, or you better just be a fan, or you better get out of Dodge quickly. And because you like happiness so much, it's very difficult for somebody to out-happy you.
Well, I think if you can make your living doing what you enjoy, that's such a privilege, because you never look at the clock. You are loved. Someone said to me the other day about this, you always seem so happy with your work and stuff. Well, yeah, because it's what I love to do.
Yeah, and you would do it if you weren't getting paid for it, you might even pay to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's that is if you're up against Rob Brydon, that's what you're up against. So you better bring your A game. It's
not in the high jump. If you were competing against me in a high jump, no matter how happy I was, I'd struggle.
Yes, but if they were competing against you in the happy jump,
then
they might as well just stay in bed.
Exactly.
So, right, voices first.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the thing about doing impressions as a kid is it's fine to do an impression as a kid, but you've got to have a bit of material there.
Oh, yeah, but that's just a natural thing, you know.
It is to you.
Well, yeah, exactly. But in the same way that the kid at school that could do all the keepy-uppies with the ball, that's natural to them.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that. So thank goodness I could do that,
right.
And I liked it.
So impressions first.
Yeah.
So you started with Kermit, who didn't, right?
Yeah.
That's how you find out if you can do them or not. If you can't do Kermit, you can't do impressions, so you got to
Yeah.
move on and become a scientist or something.
Yeah.
Second string to your bow would be what?
Well, then actual performing, doing school plays and stuff. And the first one was when I was at school in Swansea. We wrote a stage version of Star Wars where I was Luke Skywalker. It was a strong opening. But the interesting thing with that was before the play started, I stood at the front of the curtain. All the school is there in the gym, the old-fashioned sort of school, and I had the Two Ronnies joke book. Right, and all the old news headline jokes, police in a police station today, all the toilets were stolen. Police say they have nothing to go on, and stuff like that. So, and I stood in front of the curtain and told these jokes.
People are killing
so
themselves.
That kind of
the team are killing themselves laughing.
So that kind of set a template for me. I can see now that just liking to be out there and do that. Then I moved schools and I went to Porthcawl Comprehensive where I met Ruth Jones. And we were in musicals, big, we did Guys and Dolls, Carousel. And that was me then. This is what I want to do this. I want to go to drama school. Not because I want to learn about acting. That never crossed my mind. I want to go to drama school because I want all day to be like the rehearsals for the plays and the drama lesson.
You wanted to just go and do it?
Yeah, I didn't think... There was no part... I didn't want to learn about Greek theatre. I didn't want to do the mask workshops there. I didn't want to learn this or that. All I wanted to do was do it.
Yeah. So you were happy to do all those things, but that's not why you went
Not always.
there.
I would sometimes bunk off them or I would forget they were happening.
And so what was a young Ruth Jones like?
She was adorable, as she is now. She was... What was the young Ruth Jones like? She didn't know how good she was. She didn't have a career in this in her sights as early as I did. And I remember a few years after school sitting with her at a cafe in Cardiff and, it wasn't really happening for her and she was going to pack it in. And I remember saying to her, no, you've got something.
Yeah.
You've got something. Something a little bit extra. Because talent isn't enough.
No,
You've got to
enough.
have a little something extra.
Yeah, talent doesn't go anywhere by itself. Mm-hmm. That's the bit you've got to figure out. Mm-hmm. And also, if you do pack it in, you never know. It might have been the next day. People say to me, I'm going to give it a go for a year. I say, that's not a plan. There's no point in that. You might as well buy a lottery ticket. Yeah. It's because you just got to keep at it. Because if you keep at it and you're not completely delusional, i.e. if you're not trying to get in the England first 11 at this time, the other...
Why did you gesture to Vassos when you said, and you're not completely delusional? I'm sorry, Vassos.
Why do you think?
Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. Sorry, yeah. It makes sense.
No, I didn't mean that. I was just looking for support, to be honest.
I mean, look, if your life is an absolute sham, I mean, if you've tried everything and it hasn't worked out, then, and if you sit up at night with your head in your hands, I mean...
And drop it.
This is fun.
It's more fun than yesterday. Did you hear about yesterday?
What happened yesterday?
Oh, my gosh. At this time yesterday, we had Chris Marshall on the show. Mm-hmm. Chris is talking about Beyond Paradise.
Yes.
The Death in Paradise spin-off. I have a lovely chat to him. I throw over to Vassos. I chance... Now, every 5 interviews, I'll give Vassos... I'll chance a Vassos question. Yeah. And yesterday it was why I don't do it very often. Why it's now going to be 1 in 10. So Vassos, what do you think? Well, Chris, obviously, Beyond Paradise... Obviously, there's a murder, and Chris says, there isn't a murder.
I'd watched half of it, and there was a dead person. And I presumed they'd been murdered.
Yeah.
And I hadn't watched the end, and there wasn't. She hadn't been murdered. She just died.
You hadn't really watched the first half an hour either. Because if there had been a murder to solve, which there needs to be within an hour, it would probably have happened
Yeah, I
earlier
was
on.
surprised that there wasn't a murder. She
It's
kept
hard, though,
appearing.
isn't it? When you got loads of people coming in, it's hard to be on top of.
It's hard to watch 55 minutes
It's
of a
very
show,
hard.
a telly show
Well-
at night while double screening.
That was, and also, and by the way, I never chanced it like that, and I thought, I'll just give it a go.
Oh no! What's the worst that can happen?
Have you ever come across her?
Oh
Have you-
yeah.
Go on,
Yeah,
give
yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, on
can
my
you-
podcast, sometimes it's people I know their stuff inside out. Sometimes it's not, or sometimes you have to pretend that you've watched the thing. It's, you have to sometimes. There's not enough hours in the day. Of
course there are.
No, there are not.
There are.
No, there are for you. But you're a superhuman.
No, but
I am
just,
immortal.
Well, but I keep the main. I mean, this is the main thing for me, isn't it?
Right.
The podcast isn't the main thing for you. It does really well though, doesn't it?
It does fine, yeah. So I do a whole bunch.
What's your
of
podcast
things.
called?
Brydon and I had to think then, didn't I?
It's actually called Brydon.
Yes,
it should be from now on.
Brydon and.
Right, so sorry, back to Ruth Jones.
Yeah.
So what did you spot in her? What was she really good at anyway? I mean, clearly she felt like she had it. No, she did have imposter syndrome, but I think all the best people do have imposter syndrome.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because I used to think that I didn't, but then I realise now I just tell it to shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
It is there.
You have to have it.
It is there. But I would never be one to come on something, and I really suffer from imposter syndrome. I think that I'm not worthy. I would never say that. But, yeah, it's often, it's in the back of my mind, and I've just learned to go, you shut up.
Okay, so when you were at drama school,
Yeah.
did you get the starring roles straight away?
Drama school, well, I left early because I got a job on the radio, but yeah, not the starring roles, but I always felt, this will sound awful, people always said to me from school onwards, oh, you're really good.
Right.
Oh, you're really good.
And what do you think they meant by that? What do you think they were good at? Or you were good at, rather?
I think I entertained them. I think I connected with them.
Energy? You got great energy. You have amazing energy.
Right.
Tell me somebody who's good in our business who doesn't have good energy.
Oh, yeah. Well, but the energy comes in different forms.
Yeah,
there's-
exactly. I'm talking about good energy.
Yeah. But
Useful energy.
Yeah. All right. So Chris Martin would be an obvious example of someone with ba-cha, right, and bajong.
Have you seen the Dick Van Dyke film?
Yes.
How good is that?
Oh,
it's the best thing. It's the best thing I've ever seen on social media.
Glorious.
I think so.
Just glorious.
Sorry, you were saying.
But there's different
Tom
types.
Jones.
Oh my God,
Tom
he's
Jones
got energy.
is in his early 80s, and he doesn't know how to not smash it.
I know. Those people, they're like forces in it. So Jagger, if you're fortunate enough for you to spend any time with Jagger, I've spent a tiny bit of time with him, but I remember saying that it was like that film Cocoon, where the light is coming out of them. Mick Jagger has an energy. A lot of those people do. There's a reason that they are who they are.
Bruce Springsteen.
Yes.
They've
Yeah.
got it all going on.
Bruce, yeah. God.
Another hero of yours.
I adore Bruce.
We are done. Thank you very much, Vassos, for not messing this interview up. Really appreciate it. And Rob, good luck with the one-man show.
Oh, one-man show on the 16th at the Lyceum Theatre, yes.
Yeah, and also there's a one-man show next year.
Not next year, maybe the year after.
Okay, all right. You're always welcome to come back here. I
Thank
love
you,
you to
Chris.
death. Love
Thank
the bones
you.
of you. Have a great Tuesday, everyone. We'll see you on Wednesday. How did that happen? Bye-bye.
Virgin Radio.